I'm going to now open this up to questions. So I just have to pull up my old questions window over here. And I'm going to look at some super chats. But of course, I'm going to look at everyone's questions and hopefully we can get some real answers here. So first one, dude asked, how safe is it? How safe foreigner really is from disappearing? From Mastiff Jada. Okay. You know, right now, I'm going to be completely honest with you. If you are a foreigner who is important in any way, high profile enough, I should say. And by that, I mean if you are high up in a company, if you have any political sway, anything like that, it's probably a good idea to stay out of China right now. There is very recently, it's been, again, a couple of people have been disappeared. There's a company that was called China Horizons, who the owner and yes, I think it's another one of the owners, sort of like a high up person in the company. They have recently been detained. When I say recently, like about a month or so ago, they've been detained. You can look it up. 2 Americans. And they've been charged with moving people illegally over borders, which sounds kind of ridiculous because their company is all about sourcing teachers and sending teachers from America and other countries into China, finding jobs for them. So I think it's a trumped up bunch of nonsense. And I think it's in retaliation to there was a visa scandal of a Chinese official who'd done something in America. And so it happened just shortly after that whole visa scandal thing with the Chinese official in America. These 2 Americans were detained again on these erroneous charges, and they're still stuck in prison and doing their thing as they usually do. So these kind of Cold War era retaliatory detentions, I should say kidnappings really, are on the rise. We all know it's very transparent what happened after the whole Huawei CFO Princess Meng was detained in Canada for that extradition treaty thing. We all saw what happened there. Suddenly Canadians started to get arrested all over the place. It's just a retaliatory thing. And I know because one of the people who were arrested is a friend of mine, somebody that I know, and one of the 2 high profile Canadians that were arrested, somebody that I've met and that we've done things together. He helped with the Conquering Northern China stuff. And I know for a fact that he's innocent and that he has nothing to do with what they're charging him with. So I can tell you from personal experience and people that I know that it's a bunch of BS. So if you're high profile, be very careful. These retaliatory things are probably going to get worse. And the anti-foreigner rhetoric is ramping up, and it has been for some time. And it's very simple. Just look what's just recently happened with the NBA. Look at how the local people have reacted. Rather with reason, they react with hate and with attacks and all sorts of nonsense. And just remember that if you were at any point of time during these last couple of weeks with this NBA thing, walking around with a I Love NBA shirt or something like that with the manager Maury or something, Maury's a great manager or something like that, you'd get into some trouble. Let's put it that way. Anyway, let's move on. Okay, let's see. Grab a beer. Thank you very much. Beer. I am going to have a beer. I'm actually waiting for C-Milk's gone out to the booze shop. It's our Friday ritual. We, kind of do our work and then get stuck in. So I'm going to have some. Hopefully he gets back here in time and he can come say hi. Thank you very much for everyone so far. I'm just looking for questions here. Do you have a favorite restaurant in Shenzhen? The thing is, of course, I've got so many favorite restaurants in Shenzhen. When you've been living in a city for a long time, you obviously get your favorites. And for me, it's less about a favorite restaurant. It's more about a favorite genre because unfortunately, Shenzhen is such a transient city. It's always changing that a lot of my favorite restaurants aren't there anymore. But I would say, if you're just getting into the whole Chinese food thing, I'd go for a Dongbei restaurant, something like a Sijiemei Beifang Jiaozi, something like that, which means, Sijiemei was one of my favorites. So the Four Sisters Northern Dumpling. But you see these Northern Dumpling restaurants, check them out. They're pretty good. And you can get things like Di San Xian, which is the 3 fresh from the ground, which is kind of like eggplant, pepper, and potato thing that they make. It's amazing. You've got guobao roll, which is this kind of glazed pork dish. Jinjiao rolls, everything. Anyway, this is not a food episode, so we'll move on, shall we? Okay. We'll be in a hotel 1 week before I move. Good idea, from Jeffrey. Yeah, sure. Remember, it's only within 24 hours of arriving in China that you have to register. So if you've registered at that hotel, you're technically kind of in the clear. I mean, you're supposed to, when you move into a new apartment, you're supposed to take your rental agreement and go and sort that out. But it's not a huge deal if you don't. And somebody was like, that's literally jackboots at the door in the middle of the night to be intimidating. Yes, it is. It's exactly what it is. It's really quite unnerving when you're at home watching TV or whatever. Hey, how's it going, Sea Milk? Cool. Can you bring me a drink, please? Thank you. Sorry, this is kind of a real live show, you know. It's terrible, and it's happened a couple of times. You're at home, you're sitting there watching TV, and a whole bunch of cops turn up at your door, and it's incredibly embarrassing because it's also happened, for instance, when my parents-in-law are sitting in my wife's apartment, and the police all of a sudden all turn up at the door to find out where I am. You know, that kind of thing, which is... It's intrusive, and it's very intimidating, and it's not a very nice situation, and I wish they could handle it a little better than that. Okay, let's see what else we got here. I'm just answering some questions here, so feel free to come take a seat, because maybe you can share some insight as well.
Well, to share some insight, Winston's fans, I'd have to know what you're talking about.
Okay, it's very simple. I explained how it's happened to me a whole bunch of times where the cops have come late at night to knock on my door.
Mm-hmm.
Did that happen to you?
Yes. 3 times.
Okay.
One of them was super alarming because it was about them accusing me of my whole drone issue.
Right.
Flying it over my apartment building. I won't even get into the details. What I'll say is that they accused me of filming a military base.
Yeah.
When in fact, if you go on Youku or Bilibili, the same shots, not mine, that a Chinese person, did of the entire cityscape are on there.
Yeah.
So where's their punishment?
Sure.
Right?
Well, I'm not talking about because you literally spied or anything.
I've had my papers checked twice.
Yeah, I'm talking about just, that whole thing about the 24-hour registration thing.
Yeah.
So many foreigners don't seem to know about that.
Okay.
Have you noticed that? Or they're ignorant about it. If you tell them, hey, the cops came to check on me, they're like, oh, that's never happened to me.
Yeah, I have some speculation about that. I actually think it might have to do with the fact that they are working for training centers that are sponsoring their visas. So when they have connections with the local cops, they're like, well, their residence is basically at the dorm where they're whatever. Right. I had my own apartment. You had your own apartment, right?
That's true.
That's the difference.
Yeah, okay.
Cheers, by the way.
Thank you. Cheers. Cheers to all of you out there.
Manly drinks.
Yeah.
I have a sparkling seltzer from Smirnoff, not a sponsor.
Unfortunately, when you're trying to lose weight, you have to, throw your man card out the window at times. All right, I'm just looking for some more questions. Okay, that was it for the super chats, really. So
you read all those 3 on the top?
Which ones?
See the highlighted ones there?
Oh, okay.
Just click them. Make sure you answer those ones.
Okay.
That's
just a donation. Thank you very much to David Clark. I really appreciate that. I like the number 2. Okay, and let's see.
What's up with the 99 cents?
I don't know, but it's awesome.
Someone gave me one of those too.
Okay, so now because I've run out of super chats, I'm going to just see if there's a question here from anyone.
Okay.
Let's take a look. Oh, by the way, if you haven't clicked the thumbs up on this video, please do, so we can show the Wumao Brigade that we mean business.
I've actually never heard you ask for that.
It's the first time, yeah.
It's good.
Someone's like, seriously, Winston, I can't remember being inside mainland China in over a year? ? Well, that's because I don't let my movements be known. You have to understand, in our current situation, with so much, how can I say, so much hate is probably the best way to go, from the nationalists.
So many threats.
Yeah, there's lots of threats, there's lots of hate. I can't let my movements be known. I can't let people know, oh, I'm going to be here at this time, or I'm here now, or I'm there now, because it's just a stupid thing to do. And I'm not trying to get down on China. I'm trying to get down on, well, first of all, the CCP's nonsense, but these kind of brainless thugs that just are out there, and you get them in every country. You'll get these keyboard warriors and stuff, but these guys are backed by the government, and that's what makes it dangerous. These are the guys that have that have reported me to the government as a spy. They called the police, reported you as well, reported me as being like a national hazard, or like a safety hazard or whatever, and it's resulted in the police coming to talk to me. It's resulted in hassles for me. So it's these guys that will go out there and go out of their way to try and mess with my life, and that's why I don't let people know when I'm in China and when I'm not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You got a couple more.
Okay.
Is it safe to go to China if you're Japanese?
Yes, but it also depends. I have a Japanese friend, and I very clearly remember a couple of times where we had to pretend he was not Japanese, where we'd be like, he's a Malaysian or
The
whatever.
Japanese people that work at Sony and stuff they know the drill.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, today we're Korean.
Yeah, exactly. You have to sometimes it's not safe to be Korean.
Yeah, that's also true.
Yeah.
Maybe Mongolian or something.
You have to understand that it's a pretty bad situation if you're Japanese, because Chinese people are taught through education and also through the TV to hate Japanese people every day. And so they're normally tolerant, and secretly most Chinese people love Japanese products.
Yeah.
And they like the culture and everything.
Media.
But they're not allowed to really openly say that. It's they'll be basically shunned.
I think the love even for Japanese media and culture is less now. Not because the hate is up, but because there's so much Korean stuff and so much domestic stuff in China right now.
Yeah, they seem to love Korean stuff more, especially the dramas with men crying.
Last one is from Shortwave Espionage. Sorry, there's two more. FYI, China is still watching you, U.S. government employee.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Anyway, just to finish the thing about the Japanese thing is, just don't go to Nanjing or something and shout like "banzai." You're probably okay.
Don't say banzai.
Yeah.
Probably don't know what that means.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
All right. I do need to get one or two more questions from just
sure.
just a normal chat, because I only answered super chats. And
Okay, gotcha.
That's in poor taste. Let's see.
It's so hard. You can accidentally read something very bad. I almost did that yesterday.
Okay.
So make sure. Oh, we got another super chat. Are you guys worried that your wife's family could get in trouble by talking about China?
It's always a worry, but it's something that, hey, they married us. It's their fault, to be honest.
Fair enough.
What?
Okay,
it's not like we're out trying to really get them in trouble, but it is an unfortunate thing that it has already affected my wife,
for sure.
Your wife too.
We go on about this so much, but it's real.
It is real. I mean, the fact that people have turned up at my wife's work, have made a harassment campaign against her, wrote to the local government to say that she's a national security threat, all this kind of stuff. It's too late. The thing is, once you've played all your hands, I'm talking about these nationalist guys, once you've done the worst of the worst, and that is to attack someone's wife and family, there's nothing left that you can do. So, you keep on going, you can do what you want, but you've already proved how low you are. So,
for sure.
Yeah.
Surprise, C-Milk. Hi, Winston. Being from South Africa, how hard was it to move to the USA? I love all the stuff you guys do. Thank you.
Incredibly hard. Incredibly hard. Let's just put it that way. We're not going to say what all the details are.
And then someone followed up with, "You're in the USA now, on what type of visa?" The special one.
A very special one. Thank you very much.
You missed my super chat. What do you think of our CNO subreddit? C-Milk said they're very pro CCP Westerners. That was what I said in my... Oh, they want your opinion on it.
The CNO subreddit, I'm not actually very, very familiar with it.
Okay, it's like the counter to our China. It's almost all Westerners really love the CCP, and they censor anyone that says anything else. Yeah,
you see, this is a thing. I know a lot of Sinophiles, and there's nothing wrong with, being fascinated with the Chinese culture.
It's not quite like that.
I know. I'm just trying to get at that, though, because I personally, in all honesty, never cared much for Chinese culture. That's not why I went to China. I went to China for adventure.
Sure.
I went to China for the modern China, for what I was seeing in front of my eyes.
That's why we differ.
If someone tries to tell me about Lao Tzu,
I'm not too keen on that.
Let's talk about poetry and oracle bones and stuff. It bores me to tears. I acknowledge that China has a fantastically rich culture, okay, and I've seen remnants of it here and there. Most of it's wiped out, but I've seen remnants of what it used to be, and it is fascinating. And I've got nothing against people that are, Sinophiles that respect the culture and all that, but people that are pro-CCP and think that the Chinese government is this amazing juggernaut who's doing something good
Right.
are incorrect, because
Right.
it's not.
Right.
They've done some impressive things, no doubt, but at a huge cost. And that cost is a human cost and a history and a cultural cost. And that's something you have to look into. Because sure, you can build a skyscraper and a high-speed rail, but if that means that you've made every single animal extinct in the area and destroyed nature and basically murdered a bunch of people along the way, it's not the right thing to applaud. So we'll get into that more in the future.
So the next one was, is it safe to go to Taiwan? Yes, one of
Yes.
the safest places we've ever been.
Taiwan's awesome.
Next question was, do you use Union Pay cards in China?
Yes.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, yin yen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what you use. Union Pay is the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How do you like LA? I live in LA and love it.
Yeah, LA is
great.
amazing. Oh, that's why we're here.
Mm-hmm. We specifically love the homeless people. That's why we came.
You know,
here.
you gotta understand. Okay. The USA has a lot of problems for sure. Okay, and just like
What'd
it
you
took.
say about my country?
Well, it's got a lot of problems. I had to live in China for, more than a decade, for almost a decade and a half, for me to be able to really see clearly what all the problems were. But you also have to understand that that's because it's such a vastly different society and a different language.
The language.
Yeah. And, with America, because America's always been in the pop culture. When I was growing up, I was watching American movies and American TV shows. I speak the language. I understand what's going on here. It didn't take me very long to see the problems.
Mm-hmm.
And I see them. I'm going to talk about them, but I have to make sure that I'm, I have an informed opinion before I start jumping on this too much. Just like I went to China, I lived there for so long, I learned the language, read and write, I got married, I've got Chinese family, I contributed so much to the country just by living there and paying my taxes and doing everything, so I was there for ages, so I can talk about it. I went through the whole country with you. We went through the whole of China, and we've seen so much of it, which is ridiculous.
You're gonna have to scroll up a bit.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Wrong mouse.
All right.
Next was, I don't understand why we should interfere or even care about China's domestic affairs. Can I say something about that?
Sure, go for it.
The reason is that even if you're outside of China, it will eventually affect you. And we talked about this at length, but the whole corporate capitulation to China currently is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah. Mm.
China's exporting its system, right? That's why we should care.
I also think that you're heartless if you say that, because why would you not care about
I was
humanity?
being pragmatic. But
On top of that, why would I not care about my Chinese wife and my Chinese family? Everything that goes on in China personally affects me and my family. So of course I have something to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
If I see an injustice being done and I'm seeing something bad happening that affects my wife and affects my family, I'm going to say something about it. I'm going to do something about it. I do understand if you're just a casual observer far away, it's got nothing to do with China, but I actually do have a lot to do with China, so I have to talk about it. And I do actually want real change.
I do actually think the average person should care more, to be honest.
Absolutely.
Next is awesome seeing the three of you on Mount Palomar recently. It was actually a while ago, but
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
really fun
yeah.
to ride there.
Yeah, it was good.
Two of my favorite YouTubers from South Africa review games and anime after watching... zippity-doo-dah.
Sorry.
After watching your video, I'm worried for their safety. Do you think I should sponsor them coming to New York? Will it be too much grief?
I don't think you can just sponsor someone to come. It doesn't work that way.
No.
Maybe if you married them.
You marry both of them.
Yeah. That's our secret visa. We got a gay marriage.
Yeah, dude, you guys... You just gave it away! ICE
No,
is coming now.
I'm just kidding.
You're going to knock on our door.
Super kidding on that one. But no,
I don't think you have to explain that.
No. Honestly,
yeah, it's
though,
hard.
South Africa is very dangerous. People that are still living there are self-delusional because it's the only way that they can cope. So they'll tell you everything's hunky-dory and great, but it's not.
Right.
I think just watch them while they're still alive.
Mm-hmm.
See.
That's grim. When traveling through northern and southern China, did you ever feel that people were unaware of the existence of other provinces? Could the provinces be so different that they could be separate countries?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
There are so many similarities and homogenous aspects of China
Mm-hmm.
that you could be in one place and go to another and it looks identical.
Mm.
However, the dialects, a lot of the food, and the stereotypes are really the biggest thing. People in other provinces tend to hate each other.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that?
Yeah, absolutely. No, they're very discriminatory. So, he's a
he's from there.
Hubei人,
Right.
Funan 人来了.
Nigga means not
Yeah.
what you think. It means
No.
that in
Yeah,
Chinese.
naga Funan 人. Yeah. Honestly, China is... The people of China that I met traveling around are probably some of the least well-traveled people I know. And it's all got to do with the socio-economic situation. People don't have the money. Most people, remember, when we talk about China, yes, they may have the most amount of billionaires, or they may have the most amount of this, the most amount of that. But that doesn't mean they have a lot of it, if that makes sense. Because if you've got a population that vast, millions of people is literally like a 0.1%. Okay, it's a small amount of people. So most of the people in China are actually still very poor, and they don't get to travel. They may have once been to Beijing to watch the flag raising ceremony, and that's a big highlight of their lives. But otherwise, they live in their little rural hometown, their little area. They don't get to see the rest of China. That's why you get this phenomenon where we ride into a village and everyone's like, "What the hell is this?"
And you know more about China than we do.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a counterpoint, but even millionaires that I know, like people that have some sort of distant relatives,
Yes.
right? They have traveled to probably 20 countries. They've been to almost every Chinese province. This is a well-traveled person with literally not even a rudimentary knowledge of China.
Yeah.
Right? They didn't learn anything in that process. That's the difference.
Yeah, because for rich people, they've got these kind of touristy areas set up. They'll go there, they'll do the thing.
Yeah.
They'll go visit Jiuzhaigo or
It's
whatever.
the fakest thing.
It's ridiculous. And then they try the local tursa, the specialty, and then they
take
go.
their photos and they'll leave.
Yeah. So, yes, it's an interesting situation, but absolutely.
Thank you. Would you be willing to provide advice about an American K through 12 sports education program that's looking for a partner with a Chinese company? Any advice that we might take into consideration during the agreement? You might want to send a message about that, because that's...
Yeah, it's a tough one. I would say if you're going to do any kind of collaboration with China, remember that if you have any kind of intellectual property, or I should say any methodology or any kind of materials or anything like that, just remember that it's probably going to just end up being copied and given away for free. That does happen to most people in any kind of educational system. They will take your system and they will do it for free. You will never get licensing fees. You will never get royalties. So from that side of things, be very cautious. There's nothing wrong with dealing with Chinese companies.
Sorry.
Yeah, go for it. But just be aware that it's kind of, there are a lot of pitfalls and you have to be very careful. Let me see what we've got next. Which countries in Southeast Asia would you recommend Westerners look at for retirement regarding not hassled, tolerance of gays, and tired of foreigners arriving? Okay. Quite honestly, a good retirement place is probably something like Thailand, any of those sort of laid-back touristy type places, because they're used to dealing with foreigners, and as long as you're not a scumbag, you can stay above the law and be okay. My favorite place, honestly, is Taiwan. I know I keep going on about it, but not sure if it's really a good retirement spot, to be honest. But at least there you've got a system that works, and you've got possibilities to become, a resident, and you won't have issues buying property, or, it's pretty awesome. Anyway, let's continue. Someone... Oh, it's old Skyline. Do I still have some? Yeah, I still got a couple of bikes in China. They're not going to run, though. They've been standing for a while. Okay, sorry. There's another guy. Napalm Priest. Really appreciate your personal behavior advices, like the one with wearing suits as a habit. I've grown up to appreciate you both a lot in the past month. I stumbled upon your channels. Keep up the good work. Thanks, man.
Thank you. Probably don't appreciate us after drinking these girly drinks.
That's okay.
Ow! Sorry.
Tips or concerns for Americans visiting Hong Kong soon? It's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, look, all this crap about these violent things in the news. Yeah, there are people going out and they're breaking some glass and stuff, but they're not going to hurt
I know
you.
60-year-old Hong Kong people distantly related to my family that are in these protests, and 99% of the time nothing happens and it's fine. Right?
It's quite ridiculous. The other day on was it on my live stream or something, there was someone was saying that the protesters have beaten people to death. No one's died.
Why don't you flip that story on its head?
Yeah. No one's died. Don't worry. It's totally safe. You know, that's one thing about Hong Kong and Hong Kong people is that they're civilized. And the people that get out of hand, okay, you get them everywhere. You get scumbags everywhere, do bad things. But the majority of the Hong Kong people are there to look out for each other. They're not going to let you get into trouble. They're not going to hurt a foreigner.
Honestly, you know what a good way to kind of drive that home.
Mm-hmm.
If there's any sort of like in your town, if there's any sort of protest or like it's not even a protest, like a gathering.
Yeah.
For Hong Kong democracy or the pro Hong Kong protesters, go see how that operates.
Yes.
And then you will understand how actually calm it is.
It's very calm. It's really awesome.
Cool.
So
you're rolling.
I'm just trying to see.
How are China's relations with the Middle East?
I don't actually know, to be honest. They don't seem to like Muslims, that's for sure. But that's not necessarily the
governmentally, though.
Yeah.
I mean, why
they
do you
probably
think
have this Belt and Road stuff, right?
Yes, and why do you think the leadership of Middle Eastern countries haven't spoken out against the Xinjiang situation?
It's because of the good. Yeah, makes sense.
Fairly good.
Yeah. Okay. So, what VPN do you use to upload on YouTube like this? NordVPN is what we use, but I have to be straight with you guys. It doesn't matter what VPN you use in China; they will at times not work. It's tough.
You should say it. There's a lot of VPNs that are in the CCP's pocket, right? So there's a lot of VPNs that are actually giving up data,
sure.
Right? There's a few that we've seen that have not been guilty of such things.
Yeah.
But those free ones, people keep saying like, oh, why do you need to pay for Nord? Or this is not a plug, by the way.
Yeah.
Why do you need to pay for a VPN, Astral, Express, whatever? You can get this one for free. A lot of those free ones are being fully monitored by the government, right? Why do you think they're free?
Yeah, exactly. Just trying to grab another question here.
Sure. We got dinner, Chinese food, by the way.
Oh, okay. That's nice. It must be the wives who chose that.
I did, actually.
Oh,
For
really?
the wives, because I'm sick of them whining.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good. Okay. I'm not seeing any questions pop out at me just yet.
Cool. Well, you're at an hour.
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, I'm in North Carolina and loved both your movies. Do you think you will film another movie soon? Hopefully early 2020.
Yes.
We're shooting for after you have your kid, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, guys, you know, the last one I did, Stay Awesome China. If you haven't seen it, please go take a look at it. It's actually really cool, but it was so difficult to film that one. I was actually talking to Seamilk the other day because during conquering northern China, we both almost got detained.
Don't give away too much. We have a whole video.
Yeah, we have a video about this, but by the PLA, the special SWAT police, you know, and just the normal police and whoever knows what else.
Don't give away all the juice.
No, I won't. But I'm just going to say that it was incredibly close. Yeah. We almost got detained.
Oh, we could have been disappeared.
And so when I filmed Stay Awesome China, it was really at a time where I was incredibly worried.
You didn't want to do it?
No, I didn't want to do it at all. In fact, I pretty much, my producer was bugging me, let's do Stay Awesome China. And I was like, listen, I just don't want to do it, you know. But eventually I convinced him, as long as we do it my way, I'll do it. And my way was to do it guerrilla style, you know. Quick.
It's the best way to do it.
Get in there.
In China,
do it quickly.
Nowadays you couldn't even do it. No joke.
Yeah, because we're carrying around big camera rigs and stuff, and it was super hairy.
Yeah.
So like we'd get into a situation, and we'd go to film something, and if I felt the situation was off, I'd be like, "Look, we're out of here," and I'd just leave because I knew there was too much at stake.
There's a reason that when you go and watch social media from other YouTubers in China right now, that all of their content is shifted to not critical. Like, not even touching anything sensitive and being very, very pro-government. There's a very good reason that they're doing that. Yeah. And you can understand.
Yeah, if you're there right now, it's just, it's a very hostile environment, let's put it that way, you know. So as far as another one's coming, yes, our next one is hopefully India. We've been going on about this for ages, but we love India. We can't wait to do it. And
we got one more before we cut this.
Yeah.
Super chat to advertise for Fight for Freedom Stand with Hong Kong t-shirt giveaway next Tuesday at Staples Center. Yeah, bring awareness to it. That's cool. I love that they're doing this at the NBA games. It's awesome.
Where is Staples Center?
Staples Center, it's one of the big stadiums. I'm going to say LA?
Okay.
Maybe?
So anyone who wants to fight for freedom, there's a Stand with Hong Kong t-shirt giveaway next Tuesday at Staples Center. Is that where they raise the money to get the t-shirts printed?
Yeah, so they can just give them away.
Oh, so
the people in the stands are wearing them. They can't be broadcast in China.
That's fantastic.
We support that wholeheartedly.
Cheers. Yeah, seriously. I love Hong Kong. I love the people of Hong Kong. I love China. I love the people of China too. But I don't like the CCP, and I cannot abide this bullying and this garbage that's going on.
It's getting worse.
Yeah. The people of Hong Kong need solidarity,
Yes.
and if you have in any way, shape, or form any means to show that solidarity, I suggest you do it because it's it's the moral thing to do.
For sure.
Yeah. Anyway,
Agreed. Cool.
it's enough of me and my high horse. Thank you very much, guys, for joining me today for this live stream. And
Okay, there we go.
you're on your low horse. And thanks for joining me at the end of this.
Hey,
It's nice
no
to have you
problem.
as part of the Q&A.
Absolutely.
Guys, I'll see you next week. It'll be a regular video next week.
Me too.
We have been so busy this week.
Oh
We've got
my God.
this new project we're working on. I can't wait to show it to all you guys.
It's so hard not to tease it, but we can't.
Yeah, we can't. So that's why the live streams.
Mhm.
You know. Anyway, can't wait to see you guys. Keep using the wrong mouse here. I can't wait to see you guys in the next one, honestly. And
AU podcast.
yes, until next time, you know the drill. As always, stay awesome, guys.